This week we had the Mazda CX-3, and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the car and some of the things that we loved about it and some of the things that I thought I felt were missing. So let's hop inside and check it out. Okay, we're inside the Mazda CX-3, and I just wanted to highlight some of our favorite features in this model of the Mazda. We've had the CX-5 and the CX-9 before, and so this was fun to have the smaller crossover SUV and see what was different and how it fit for our family of 5. So probably the first thing we'll show you right now is just the dash. We've still got that beautiful dash like the CX-5 and the CX-9 that we've had before. The kids really thought that the air conditioning vents looked sleek, and I agree. This is in the 2017 model, and we really thought that they looked awesome. Then here on your steering wheel, you still have all your controls for cruise control over here on this side, and then over here you've got your your controls for sound and answering the phone and giving voice commands. Really easy and self-explanatory to use. Has that great, believe it's a 7-inch display for your navigation, which I'm in right now. It also, just like the others, it has that 2D or 3D option. I'm in 3D right now, and then if you click 2D, it switches to 2D. Just what I learned from having Mazdas beforehand, that if you want to use the navigation, you need to enter your destination before you start, because once you're in motion, then it locks out the controls, and you can see where you're going, you can see the navigation, but it won't let you put in a destination while the vehicle is in motion, which is a safety feature. But if you're not used to it and you forget because you're used to doing it on the phone, can be a little bit irksome in the beginning. But once you remember, okay, got to enter in my destination because it's not going to work when I'm driving, then you get used to it and not a big deal. Down here, this was probably my least favorite design aspect of the CX-3 was this portion here where the cups are supposed to be in the armrest. They kind of consolidated just for space, and because it's a smaller vehicle, they consolidated the armrest here with like your center console. It doesn't have one, so there's no location for that. It has some cup holders, but then if you want your armrest down, then you can't get to the cups, which when I'm by myself, not a big deal. I just leave the armrest up. But when my husband's in the car and we were driving down to to Carlsbad to go to Legoland, and we had drinks, and then I kept having to ask him to move his arms so that I could get my drink out. And so that was just a little bit, I don't know. I think when you go to a smaller vehicle, there have to be some sacrifices. But I definitely noticed that as one of the things where I was like, move your arm, I want to get my drink kind of thing. It still has that great toggle switch here for the controls on the screen. You can just go straight to music, back to home. If you click home, then up here on the monitor, it takes you, and then you can toggle between all of your choices. The same thing, you can add in your apps. It's got some built-in apps, especially when you link your phone to it. Has the entertainment. You can, again, use Pandora. Oh, I've got it on mute right now. You can take it to Pandora or any of those kind of things. We were using the XM radio. You can stream from your phone, plug in your Bluetooth. So that's a great thing. You can go straight to your favorites. If you click the little star button, which we had some favorites, of course, on our XM radio. And so I really like that feature of it, and definitely the mute button is easy when you want to get it quite quick with the kids. You don't have to turn it all the way down or turn it off. You just click mute. So still that great 7-inch display, great little, I call it like a joystick because it goes back and forth, it spins, works really great. Here again in your air conditioning controls, just a little bit different than what we were, I'm going to turn this down so the air doesn't blow, what we were used to. It's not a digital display, and it doesn't have all the numbers. It's like kind of just like a guesstimate in here how you're feeling. Cool up to 72 or all the way up to 84. And then over here you can control the fan speed, and then over there. So there's no climate control in the back of the vehicle, so it's all coming from the front, but you do have these great, I don't know, they're like kind of toggly, you can move them all around, air conditioning vents. Oh, there's one here and over here, and then on the far side, and here there's just one of those, you know, regular typical vents that you see in most of the cars. I liked the climate control, kept it cool. Nobody in the back complained, so it was strong enough to cool the, you know, it's a smaller vehicle, cool enough to cool it down. And it's been so chilly here in the 60s and sometimes 50s, like low 50s in the morning. Isabel and I definitely have been using the seat warmers. Haven't had any problems with those. I really like seat warmers. One thing is you have to turn it off yourself. So if you had it on in your previous trip and you turn off the car and you get back in the car, it'll still be on when you get back in the car. You have to turn it off if you don't. I mean, it doesn't stay on while you're not in the car, but once you restart the car, they turn back on if you hadn't already turned them off. So just like my husband was like, my seat's getting warm, and it's because my daughter had been sitting there before and had left the seat warmer on. So that's just something to keep in mind. It doesn't shut off on itself or by itself. Got a beautiful display here. I love that it has a digital display for how many miles per hour you're going. I think that's like one of my pet peeves when it doesn't have a digital display for that, and you're like trying to be like, okay, am I 65? Am I close to, you know, because usually it counts by 20, and I'm like, am I at 60 or 70, or am I all the way to... Anyway, so I like the digital display for the speed, for your speed. And up here again, that cool, I really love it. It's like ghosting. I don't know why it flickers with the phone. It must be something. Anyway, you see it there? Almost had it. The up here where it tells you your speed, and you can keep your eyes on the road at all time. So with that display, and I really like that. And then when you turn the car off, I'll do it really quick. When you turn the car off, it folds down and says goodbye to you. Bye bye. See you later. So anyway, so I really like that, because it keeps my eyes forward. I know what speed limit I'm going. I get all my warnings if because the CX-3 has the warnings with the in the side mirrors to tell you that someone's in your blind spot, and that also shows up here if you try to go into the lane without signaling. You got that lane departure warning, and you also have the warning of someone in your blind spot, which when we were driving to Carlsbad with all of us in the rain, it was so nice to have that. I could focus on keep my eyes forward and stay focused. I just thought the interior was beautiful. My husband even made a comment about that we liked it's like a mix of the suede with the leather here on the seat. See that? It's like, anyway, it was super soft, really comfy seats. It's got it over here, that suede over there with the leather on the inside. And it has a Bose sound system, but but it doesn't have that super awesome, it has the Bose, but it doesn't have the super awesome bass that I loved. See, you can turn up the bass, which you see I can, but it doesn't have, I don't know if you would call them woofers like the other cars did, but it's still nice sound system. And my kids appreciated that I couldn't turn so much bass on while they were in the car. The back seat, I would say we had to like reconfigure, because usually we put Grace in the car seat on the edge door seat so that she's easier to get out, but that was tricky with the 2 big kids in the back seat when we were all 5 in the car to go to Carlsbad, because they did not like sitting next to each other or touching each other. So we stuck Grace in the middle, and then it was still a little tight, but once they got used to it and then they weren't touching each other, they were just leaning against the car seat, they were totally fine. The legroom was awesome. Even with the seat all the way back, the people in the back had great legroom. My 11-year-old didn't complain about that, but great looking interior. And like I said, the only thing that drove me a little bit nuts was this center console configuration, just because the cups holders are underneath the armrest. I'm not an armrest person, but my husband is, so he wants it down. And then I'm like, you're blocking my drink. So anyway, we got it all worked out. We were fine. And then you've got your USB ports up here, and there's the card reader. I'm sure it's got the nav in there, so you don't have to worry about that. And then here, the 9-volt, 12-volt, whatever it is, cigarette lighter, as we used to call it when we were kids. And there you've got a CD player spot, and overall, just a fun little car. It was so easy to park. I appreciated that about being in the CX-3. I could park in any spot I wanted to, after being, you know, in a van for so many years and being like, oh, well, I can't have that one too tight. Always had enough space. Oh, and you still, in this model, I think it's a GT model, you still have the great sunroof, which is super fun on beautiful days like today, when you can open it up and drive. And I thought that inside noise was just typical of what you would expect of a crossover SUV. Not like super silent, but not overly noisy. So when you're driving on the highway, you know, you can still hear your music and your kids, and nobody's having to shout over each other. And I think I'll hop out and show you what it looks like from the exterior when you're opening the doors, and check out the trunk space. So let's go do that. Okay, so now we're outside the vehicle, and you can see inside all the great legroom that you've got. I didn't feel squished, thought it was great. You know, it's a little lower than driving in a van or in the, I was next to CX5 and CX9, you know, run into some on the road, and you're lower to the ground. So when you get in, if you're expecting like the van height or CX9, CX5 height, it's a little bit lower to the ground, but I like I said, I think it's just a super cute little car. And then back here is your space for your passengers, and good space. Kids liked it. We had a good time. They were excited to get picked up from school in a fun little car. And let's check out the trunk space. Still, I feel like they didn't sacrifice on the trunk space. You still got a lot of room back here. We stuck a stroller in there. We were going down to Carlsbad, plus all of our supplies for the day. I went grocery shopping. We went to the silent auction at school, loaded it up. Plenty of room for everything. Oh, in the morning for drop off and pick up, lots of space for instruments and backpacks. We do a carpool, so she had plenty of room for all of her stuff, and plus my kids' things. No problems with that. Oh, the one thing I ran into again is that it's not an automatic lift gate, so my 8-year-old cannot close the back by herself because she's too short. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're thinking about this, that it doesn't have an automatic lift gate, which is nice on the CX-5 and the CX-9. But, you know, if you're looking for a more compact vehicle, less gas guzzling, you know, kind of thing. Not that they guzzle gas, but just that using more economic space, and just like I said, parking is total breeze because it's so compact. Let's hop back in. Oh, it does not have automatic seats, so you are adjusting with the bar in the front, you know, and on the side to move your seat front and back, and to adjust the back of the seat, you know, forward or back. So it doesn't have that auto adjust on it. It does, however, have that you can lock out the windows if you don't want the kids opening and shutting. But when you lock it out, so let's lock it, you're also Okay, so when you lock it out, sorry, yours will still open. I had to think about that. Yours will still open and close, but it keeps you from putting down anybody else's window. In my vehicle that I drive, if I lock out the windows, it just keeps the passengers from being able to put their windows up and down. But if you lock it out, then you're also locked out from putting their windows up and down, which I would forget sometimes. And I'd be like, why won't the windows go down? Oh, it's locked out. So that's just a heads up on there. Once you get used to it, and like I said, it's different than my car, then then you're used to it. Over here you can control if you've got the warnings on, you can turn it off and on, or your lane departure off and on. So you can have that whether you want it on. And then within your settings up here, then you can also change, the beeps, how loud the beep is. And the super cool thing I adjusted this time was that I changed the locking so that it locked when the key walked away from the vehicle. So it automatically locked. I didn't even have to worry about it. And it has the auto feature where you push the button on the outside, and if the key's, with you, then it unlocks on its own. And so I really love that. And I loved being able to say, hey, I'm walking away from the vehicle. All the doors are shut. Lock the vehicle up so that I don't forget it or have to come back over and push the button if one of the kids is the last one walking away. So that was a cool feature to be able to adjust. And I wanted to show you the backup camera. Really nice backup camera. Shows you got that space where like you're red, you're in danger, be careful, and then the yellow shows you the trajectory kind of to where you'll end up if you keep their wheel in that position. But I really love the safety features. I think that's one of the great advancements in vehicles these days, is having that blind spot warning, the lane departure, having the display to show you what your speed is. I think all of those things, and the backup camera, all of those things are really great and are really helpful for families, especially when you're maybe not the only person in the car, and your distraction level is a little bit higher than if you're just driving by yourself. And also, you can Bluetooth your phone to the car so that you can be totally hands-free. And I showed you before that all the controls are on the wheel too for answering phones. And if you're in a stationary position, it will let you read your texts through the communication setting, which I think is cool. But if you're in motion, then it will say this is blocked out for your safety. So I think that is awesome too. Be able just to keep your eyes on the road, and the car, makes that decision to keep you safe if you're not gonna make the choice, which I appreciate. And it's a good reminder of like, oh no, I'm not gonna read a text message right now. But like I said, we liked the car. A little small for our family needs, but I think definitely if you're a family of 4, a family of 2, a family of 1, whatever that situation is, that the CX-3 is a great car, especially for commuting, getting around, and it has all those great safety features that we love. Has that luxury look inside like all the Mazdas, and I really appreciate that Mazda's great at rolling out those safety features with their SkyActiv technology and the radar sensing and everything that keeps people safe on the road. And I think that's one of the great uses of technology and in automobiles these days. So if you have any questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them. I hope I covered most of the things that you wonder about. And the last time somebody asked about the window, the only one that auto rolls down, like if you push it all the way down, is the driver's side. None of the other ones do. When you push them, you have to hold them down. I know that was a question from last time, and I addressed it this time. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.